Everything you want begins with one thing, desire. Not a wish, not a hope. A fierce, consuming, relentless desire. Achievement does not respond to the passive. It bends only for the man or woman who sets fire to their soul and refuses to be denied. If you want success, wealth, mastery, freedom, respect, you must want it like your lungs want air after being held underwater. Weak desires bring weak results. Strong desires move mountains. Your starting point is not talent. It's not education. It's not connections. It is desire, so definite, so clear, so forceful, that it dominates your thoughts day and night. A man with a definite desire is more powerful than 1,000 with vague intentions. Desire is not enough on its own. It must be backed by purpose. You must know exactly what you want. You must see it in your mind's eye. You must feel it, believe it, and be ready to pay the price for it. The man who says, "I will become this," and believes it with his entire being, has already begun bending reality to his will. But belief is not enough either. Desire must act. Desire without action is hallucination. You must step out, move forward, attack your goal with everything in you. You must put your back against the wall and say, "I burn the ships. There is no retreat. I will win or I will die trying." That's the power of true desire. It leaves no room for escape, no door for excuses. Do not look for approval. Do not wait for the right time. Do not let logic kill your dreams. Logic belongs to the cautious. Desire belongs to conquerors. The world does not yield to the rational. It yields to the relentless. History is written by men who refused to be denied, whose desires were louder than the doubt around them. When setbacks come, and they will, you do not quit. You fuel the flame. You raise your intensity. Desire plus persistence equals destiny. You press forward not because the path is easy, but because you have decided the result in advance. A true desire refuses defeat. It transforms obstacles into stepping stones. You are not here to tiptoe through life hoping for scraps. You are here to demand more of yourself, of life, of your potential. If you lack desire, you will settle. If you burn with desire, you will rise. Every champion, every billionaire, every groundbreaker began with this fire. No exception. Nothing moves until desire commands it to move. So stop waiting for someone to hand you permission. Stop looking for motivation outside yourself. It starts within. Light the fire. Name your desire. See it. Feel it. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Feed it daily with belief, action, and obsession. Let it consume your fear, your doubts, your excuses. You want achievement? Then want it more than comfort. Want it more than approval. Want it more than sleep. Make that desire your master. Bow to nothing else. Because once you desire something so intensely that you refuse to accept anything less, you will have it. That's not philosophy. That's law. And the world cannot stop a man who refuses to be stopped. Desire is not a wish. It is a command to your mind. A wish floats in the air. It waits, it hopes, it daydreams. But desire commands. It doesn't ask politely. It demands your focus, your energy, your complete attention. A real desire is not silent. It speaks to you day and night. It interrupts your sleep. It hijacks your thoughts. It tells your body to move, to act, to get up even when you are tired. It becomes the central order of your life. When you truly desire something, you don't wait, you move. You don't ask for permission. You take the first step, then the next. A wish is what the crowd has. A desire is what the leaders have. And the difference between the two is the difference between living a life of regret or living a life of power. You must understand, desire is not soft. It is not gentle. It is ruthless. It is fierce. It does not tolerate weakness. It does not tolerate excuses. It does not allow you to live below your potential. When desire grabs hold of you, it does not let go. It drags you forward. It forces you to become more than you were yesterday. It demands growth, sacrifice, discipline, pain, and persistence. But it also promises results, if you're willing to follow it with everything in you. Most people never achieve because they never ignite true desire. They flirt with goals. They try for a few days, maybe a week. But desire is not about trying. It is about doing or dying. Either you are all in or you are not in at all. You don't casually chase a dream, you chase it like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your destiny, your fulfillment, your impact, they all hinge on your ability to want something so badly that you burn every excuse that stands in your way. If you don't feel it in your gut, if it doesn't give you goosebumps when you think about it, then it's not desire, it's decoration. You don't decorate your life with desires. You drive your life with them. Every world shaker, every titan, every record breaker, none of them got there by wishing. They got there by turning desire into obsession. They got there by saying, this is mine and I will stop at nothing until I claim it. That mindset separates winners from the masses. It's not talent, it's not luck. It's not timing, it's raw, unshakable, burning desire. Desire only begins the process. It's the spark, not the entire fire. After desire, you must build, you must plan, you must act, you must move with urgency. Most fail not because they lacked resources, but because they lacked real, clear, defined desire. A man with no desire is a man drifting. A man with desire, even without tools, even without money, even without support, will find a way to create. He will attract what he needs. He will develop the skills. He will outwork the competition. Desire becomes the magnet that draws everything required to win, but only when it's real, only when it burns like fire in your belly. This is not about chasing a fantasy. This is about locking into a goal so fiercely that you bend the world to match your vision. You make the impossible bow down to your will. You don't stop when it's hard. You stop when it's done, because that's what desire-driven people do. No one hands you success. No one is coming to save you. No one is obligated to believe in your vision. That's your job. Your desire is your responsibility. And if you don't guard it, feed it, and fight for it, the world will bury it under distractions, opinions, and fear. You must protect your desire like it's sacred, because it is. It's the first whisper of your potential telling you what you were built to do. Listen to it. Strengthen it. Multiply it through action. Remind yourself daily of what you want and why you must have it. Talk to yourself with conviction. Surround yourself with reminders. Cut out the noise. Eliminate anything that dampens the fire. You're not here to be average. You're here to dominate in the arena you choose. But that begins with desire, and desire begins with a decision to no longer accept anything less than what sets your soul on fire. If your desire is weak, your actions will be weak. If your desire is unclear, your direction will be lost. But when your desire is strong, nothing stands a chance. You become bold. You become focused. You become dangerous to every limitation that used to stop you. Your desire will make you uncomfortable because it demands change. It demands you become someone greater. That's the price. If you want to win, you must pay it with effort, sacrifice, and relentless commitment. The dream doesn't care how tired you are. The dream only responds to how bad you want it, so want it more, want it harder. Want it until there's no room for fear, no room for excuses, no room for anything except progress. That is the edge. That is the power. And once you step into it, the world cannot hold you back. Do you want it or not? That's the only question that matters. You either move like your dream is non-negotiable, or you lose to someone who does. Get up, lock in, and let your desire be louder than your doubt. Every great success begins with a burning obsession, not mild interest, not casual effort, obsession. The kind that takes over your mind and does not ask for permission. The kind that keeps you up at night, eyes open, brain racing with plans, strategies, and visions of the life you demand to build. If you're not obsessed, you're not serious. You're just curious. And curiosity doesn't create greatness. Obsession does. Obsession turns time into a weapon. While others waste hours, the obsessed extract value from every second. They don't need motivation, they are motivation. Their obsession drives them beyond fatigue, beyond fear, beyond resistance. Obsession is hunger with direction. It's focus on fire. It's the refusal to accept anything less than total victory. Look at anyone who's built something remarkable, and behind it you'll find obsession. They didn't dabble. They didn't balance. They went all in. They poured themselves into their craft, their business, their mission, until the world had no choice but to notice. They didn't care about critics. They didn't care about how long it would take. They only cared about one thing, making it real. Obsession makes you unreasonable. And that's the point. Reasonable people never change the world. Reasonable people settle. Obsessive people reshape their reality. They don't stop at obstacles. They climb over them, dig under them, smash through them. They don't ask, is this possible? They ask, what must I become to make this inevitable? Obsession demands transformation. You can't remain who you are and get what you've never had. The dream has a price. And obsession is the currency. You can either pay with regret or pay with obsession. You choose. One will give you stories about what could have been. The other will give you the life that was meant to be. Most people tiptoe through life, trying not to disturb their comfort. But comfort is the enemy of greatness. You don't grow where it's easy. You grow where it's intense. You grow where the fire of your obsession forces you to become disciplined, sharp, bold, and relentless. Obsession puts you in motion when the world wants you still. Obsession blinds you to distractions. It makes sacrifice feel natural. It makes hard work feel necessary. It makes quitting impossible. There is no success without sacrifice. There is no breakthrough without breaking the old version of yourself. And there's no lasting achievement without the obsession to see it through. Most people don't fail because of talent. They fail because they didn't want it badly enough. Their desire was negotiable. Their dreams had a price. But when you're obsessed, your dreams are not for sale. You don't entertain excuses. You don't water down your goals. You don't let fear cast the deciding vote. Or you are too locked in, too clear, too hungry to turn back. That's the standard. That's the mindset. That's what separates those who try from those who take. You must train your mind to feed your obsession daily. You must wake up thinking about your goal. You must work through the day building it. You must go to bed knowing you gave everything for it. Not once a week, not when it's convenient. Every single day. Obsession is not a phase. It's not a moment of excitement. It's a lifestyle. It's an identity. When you're obsessed, you don't chase the goal. You become the type of person who earns it. You don't wait for the opportunity. You create it through consistency and unshakable focus. You don't fear failure. You fear mediocrity. You don't compete with others. You compete with your own limits, and you break them over and over again. Obsession is misunderstood by the average because it doesn't make sense to the comfortable. But you're not here to make sense to the average. You're here to lead, to build, to conquer. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them stay safe. You've got work to do. You've got a vision to fulfill. And it starts with one thing, the burning obsession that refuses to let you live small. Let it drive you. Let it harden you. Let it shape you into a force that cannot be ignored. Because once you're obsessed, the world has no choice but to step aside. Weak desires bring weak results. Only definite, fierce desire can drive action. That is not theory. That is law. You don't get what you vaguely want. You get what you are absolutely determined to have. When your desire is weak, your effort is casual, your decisions are slow, and your standards are low. You hesitate, you compromise, you rationalize, and the world sees it. Life doesn't respond to maybe, it responds to certainty. And certainty only comes from desire that has reached a boiling point. You must want your goal so badly that you will not tolerate anything less. You must see it as non-negotiable. No backup plan, no retreat, just forward until it's done. When your desire is fierce, you don't wait for motivation. You move through pain, through fear, through the opinions of the crowd because action is no longer optional. It's automatic. The man with weak desire says, I'll try. The man with fierce desire says, I will no matter what. That is the difference between effort and execution, between dreaming and domination. You must understand that achievement is not granted by luck, timing, or connections. It is seized by intensity. Weak desire makes you passive. Fierce desire makes you dangerous. When you're filled with that fire, you stop looking at obstacles as reasons to quit. You start seeing them as confirmation that you're on the right path. Because the path to anything great is paved with resistance. If it's easy, it's not worth it. And if it's worth it, it will test every part of you. Fierce desire is what keeps you standing when everything around you tries to knock you down. It's what keeps your feet moving when your body screams to stop. It's what silences the noise of distraction and amplifies the voice inside you that says, keep going, we are not done. That voice comes from clarity. You must know exactly what you want. Vague goals produce vague results. But a clear, definite goal, powered by fierce desire, cuts through the fog like a blade. You cannot afford to move half-heartedly. You cannot afford to show up with lukewarm intent. The world does not bend to hesitation. It bends to power. And power comes from decision backed by emotion, by conviction, by an unrelenting hunger to see it real. You have to want your goal more than you want approval, more than you want comfort, more than you want the easy way. This is not a game. This is your life. And your life will reflect what you truly desire, not what you pretend to care about. Fierce desire puts you in motion when others are still talking. It pulls you out of bed before the sun rises. It makes you stay up when the job is not finished. It puts pressure on your potential until growth becomes unavoidable. You don't dabble when your desire is fierce. You dominate. You don't negotiate with failure. You rise above it. You don't wonder if it's possible. You decide that it's inevitable. You must take that desire and turn it into discipline. Wanting is not enough. Wanting without work is wasted energy. But when fierce desire meets consistent action, the world starts to shift. Resources appear. People take notice. Doors open. Not because it's magic, but because intensity has weight. And it moves things. That's what most people miss. They think desire is about emotion. It's not. It's about movement. Emotion fades. Action stays. And fierce desire creates daily action that does not stop until the result is in your hands. Every day you feed it. Every day you remind yourself why you started. Every day you look at your goal and say, nothing is going to stop me. Not today, not ever. You must also protect that desire. Doubt is a thief. Delay is a killer. Distraction is poison. And they will come for you the moment you start to want something deeply. That's the test. That's how you know your desire is real, because it will be challenged. You will be tempted to compromise. You will be tempted to shrink. But you hold the line. You don't give an inch. You protect your desire like your life depends on it, because it does. The life you were meant to live is waiting on the other side of your commitment to this desire. If you abandon it, you abandon yourself. But if you hold it, feed it, and fight for it, it will change everything. Nothing great was ever built by a man who was half-interested. No empire, no masterpiece, no victory was ever achieved by someone who said, I'll give it a shot. They were built by those whose desire could not be contained, whose mission could not be stopped, whose intensity set fire to average. So look at your life. Look at your results. They will show you the truth. They will reflect your desire, not your words, not your intentions. Your results are the scoreboard. If they are not what you want, your desire is not strong enough. Make it stronger. Decide again. Want it more. Go all in and never back down. That's the standard. That's the path. That's the truth. Desire must be translated into a definite goal with a clear plan. Without that, desire is just noise. It's raw energy with no direction, fire without a furnace. People confuse emotion with commitment. They feel inspired for a moment, then wonder why nothing changes. The truth is, desire without a target is powerless. You can want something deeply, but until you define it, until you can see it, measure it, and plan for it, it will never become reality. The mind cannot hit a target it cannot see. If your goal is vague, your progress will be slow. But when your goal is sharp, specific, and backed by fierce intent, your entire life starts moving toward it like a guided missile. Vague dreams die in silence. Definite goals, built on the foundation of burning desire, shape destinies. It is not enough to say, I want success. That's an empty statement. What kind of success? In what area? By when? Doing what? How much will it cost you, and are you willing to pay that price? Until you have answers, you don't have a goal, you have a wish. And wishes don't get rewarded. Only clarity does. The world doesn't respond to your feelings. It responds to your direction. The people who win are those who sit down, write it out, carve the vision into their mind, and build a blueprint that demands execution. It's not optional. It's not flexible. It's mandatory. Every action you take, every hour you spend, every decision you make gets filtered through that goal. That is how desire gains power, when it is focused through structure. A plan transforms your dream from fantasy to strategy, and strategy is how you win. Without it, you're just guessing. You're reacting to life instead of commanding it. A strong plan is not just a list, it is a declaration. It says, this is what I will do. This is how I will do it. This is when it will be done. It removes doubt. It silences hesitation. It fuels urgency. And urgency is what separates now from someday. Someday is for the unfocused. Now is for the hungry. And hunger without a plan is wasted energy. A man with a plan moves with certainty. He doesn't wander. He doesn't hope. He moves with purpose. He wakes up knowing exactly what he must do. And he does it with intensity because his desire is no longer floating. It's driving a machine called execution. There is no achievement without a roadmap, and no roadmap can exist without decision. You must choose your goal like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. The clearer the destination, the faster the journey. Confusion kills speed, but clarity breeds velocity. Clarity gives your energy direction. It turns scattered effort into focused force. Every giant leap forward begins with a clear, definite decision. Once you know what you want and when you want it, the how begins to reveal itself. You reverse engineer your dream into steps. You create milestones. You break the mountain down into bricks, and then you move. One brick, every day without fail. That is the discipline of the determined. That is the formula of the obsessed. Most people never get there because they skip the planning. They jump straight from desire to action with no structure, and when results don't come fast, they quit. But those who plan, those who set goals with precision, understand that power comes from knowing exactly where you are, knowing exactly where you're going, knowing exactly what must be done today to move closer. That's not motivation, it's domination, it's ownership of your path, it's control over your future. And it only belongs to those who take their desire and build it into a system. That system becomes your compass. When emotions fade, the system stays. When motivation dips, the plan remains. When doubt creeps in, the blueprint pulls you back to center. This isn't about perfection, it's about direction. You will make mistakes. You will face setbacks. But if your goal is definite and your plan is real, you will adjust, adapt, and keep moving. Because failure does not defeat those with structure. It educates them. They pivot, refine, and execute again. Faster, smarter, stronger. That is what separates the driven from the daydreamers. The driven have calendars filled with action steps. The daydreamers have conversations filled with excuses. Only one group wins. The ones who turn their desire into a goal, and their goal into a blueprint for action. That's the formula. That's the edge. You must build your life with intention. That means treating your desire like a mission, not a mood. It means showing up to your dream like it's your duty, not your hope. It means crafting a plan so specific, so direct that nothing can pull you off course. Not opinions, not distractions, not fear. A definite goal with a clear plan turns you into a machine of execution. It erases wasted time. It multiplies your focus. It eliminates doubt. And that is where power begins, not in wanting, but in working, building, executing every single day. You want more? Get more detailed. You want faster results? Get more structured. You want certainty? Write the plan and follow it with the force of obsession. Faith in your desire gives it life. Doubt kills it before it breathes. That is the unshakable truth. Desire without faith is a spark with no oxygen. It flickers for a moment, then disappears. But when you feed your desire with belief, true, fierce, relentless belief, it catches fire and nothing can put it out. Faith is not hope. Hope waits. Faith moves. Faith acts without seeing. It steps forward without certainty. It bets everything on the vision before it becomes real. That is the kind of mindset that creates results. Doubt will always whisper, "What if it doesn't work?" Faith answers, "What if it does?" And nothing stops me. That single shift in thinking changes everything. Because when you believe in your desire with full conviction, your actions explode with intensity. You stop asking for permission. You stop needing reassurance. You move like it's already yours. Most people kill their dreams not from failure but from doubt. They doubt their talent. They doubt their timing. They doubt whether they are good enough. And that doubt becomes a virus. It spreads into their habits, weakens their decisions, and steals their energy. Doubt is the assassin of action. It does not scream, it whispers. It shows up in hesitation, in excuses, in endless planning with no execution. But the man with faith ignores the noise. He knows doubt is just fear wearing logic's clothes. He doesn't need proof. His vision is the proof. His decision is the evidence. He moves because he must. Not because it's easy, not because it's guaranteed, but because the fire inside is stronger than the fear outside. You must build faith like a muscle. And just like a muscle, it grows with use. Every time you act in alignment with your goal, especially when it's hard, you strengthen belief. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you add to the foundation of confidence. Faith is not something you are given. It is something you earn through discipline, through repetition, through courage. When you believe in your desire completely, the world starts to move. People feel your certainty. Doors begin to open. Opportunities emerge. But it doesn't start with the world. It starts with you, with your mindset, with your decision to trust the process even when the results haven't shown up yet. The greatest power you have is your ability to choose belief. To look at your goal and say, I don't care what it looks like right now. I know this will happen. That kind of belief is not delusion. It's dominance. It's clarity. It's control over your own narrative. Because the alternative is to let doubt drive. And when doubt drives, progress dies. It leads to inaction. It leads to waiting. It leads to watching others win while you stand still. The difference between winners and watchers is not intelligence. It's belief. Winners decide the outcome long before the results arrive. They live as if the goal is already accomplished. That mindset pulls them forward with speed and force. And that speed leaves doubt no time to grow. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot feed faith and feed doubt at the same time. One must die for the other to live. So you choose. You either kill doubt or let doubt kill your dream. And if you let doubt stay even a little, it will multiply. It will find every weakness and amplify it. It will twist your thoughts and make fear look like logic. It will give you reasons to wait, to delay, to lower your standard. But when you're consumed by faith, those thoughts cannot survive. You move with confidence not because you have all the answers, but because you've burned the bridge behind you. You're not going back. You've decided that success is your only direction. Faith demands action. You cannot claim belief and live in hesitation. You cannot say you trust the process while doing nothing to support it. Faith is proven in behavior. It's seen in the consistency of your grind, in your refusal to quit, in your ability to persist through silence, through rejection, through failure. You become unstoppable not by eliminating obstacles, but by believing in your ability to overcome them. And that belief becomes your edge. When others slow down, you speed up. When others retreat, you press forward. Not because the path is easy, but because you are no longer available for doubt. You must understand that your belief sets the ceiling. If you don't believe it's possible, you won't work hard enough to make it real. If you don't believe you deserve it, you'll sabotage your progress. If you don't believe in your own voice, you'll let the noise of the world drown it out. But if you do believe, if you believe with fire, with focus, with certainty, nothing can stop you. The path might shift, the timing might test you, but you will win. Because belief turns obstacles into fuel. It turns fear into focus. It turns dreams into plans and plans into action. Faith in your desire means treating it like reality before the world does. It means moving every day with the mindset that it's already yours. You don't wait for validation. You don't slow down for fear. You move, you build, you persist, because you already know how this ends. Not with regret, not with doubt, but with victory. Faith wrote the outcome long before the world recognized it. Persistence fuels desire. Without persistence, desire fades into fantasy. Desire alone is not enough. It is the spark, but persistence is the fuel. Without persistence, that initial spark dies out, leaving nothing but smoke and memory. Millions start with desire. Few finish with results. Why? Because they stop, they get distracted. They face resistance, and instead of pushing forward, they retreat. But those who win, the ones who rise from average to exceptional, understand that persistence is not optional. It is the lifeblood of every breakthrough. You don't get to your goal by wishing. You get there by grinding, day in, day out, especially on the days when it's hard, when it's boring, when no one is watching, and when every excuse tells you to quit. That is the moment when persistence separates the talkers from the doers. Desire is only powerful when it becomes an obsession. An obsession survives only when it is fed by relentless action. Action repeated so often, so consistently, that it becomes identity. That's what persistence does. It transforms your desire from an emotional impulse into a concrete result. And this transformation doesn't happen in a flash of excitement. It happens in the quiet, brutal repetition of choosing to move forward when no motivation is left. You won't always feel like it. You won't always have clarity. But persistence doesn't require your feelings. It demands your commitment. You get up, you show up, you execute. Not once, not twice, every single time. Until the result is done. Until the dream becomes visible to the world. The truth is, life will not hand you what you want just because you want it. It will test you. It will push back. It will make you earn it. And the only currency accepted in that exchange is persistence. Talent won't save you if you stop. Intelligence won't help if you stall. Vision won't matter if you quit. But the one who refuses to stay down, the one who keeps coming, keeps grinding, keeps believing, will eventually wear the world down. Because persistence breaks resistance. It breaks doubt. It breaks every obstacle placed in your path. Every locked door, every setback, every rejection, they all crumble under the weight of a man who refuses to quit. You must become ruthless with your consistency. That means you don't pause when it gets uncomfortable. You don't slow down when it gets inconvenient. You keep going, even when the progress is invisible, especially then. Most people give up not because they fail, but because they don't see fast results. But results are delayed by design. You plant, you water, you wait. And only the persistent get to harvest. Desire without persistence is like a fire without oxygen. It cannot last. And when it dies, you're left with regret. But when you persist, every struggle becomes a brick. Every rejection becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes a stepping stone. You build with all of it, you grow from all of it, and eventually what looked impossible becomes inevitable. You must make persistence part of who you are. It's not something you try, it's something you become. The man who decides that quitting is off the table becomes dangerous, because now there's no exit, there's no retreat, there's only forward. And when that's your only direction, you start to find solutions. You become creative, you become resourceful, you adapt, you evolve, because you have no other option. That is when desire becomes destiny, when you are no longer willing to consider any outcome but victory. You lock in, you tune out the noise, you build momentum until it cannot be stopped. And even when it's hard, even when it's slow, you stay the course. Not because it's easy, because it's yours. Persistence gives desire structure. It gives it teeth. It turns your goal into a daily mission. You stop treating your dream like a hobby and start treating it like war. Not against people, but against weakness, distraction, and excuses. You fight for your dream because no one else will. You take full responsibility. You hold yourself accountable. And when you fall short, you don't make excuses. You adjust and go again. Because persistence doesn't care about perfection. It only cares that you refuse to stop. You win by staying in the game longer than anyone else. You win by making progress non-negotiable. Every day, one more step. Every day, one more swing. That is the mindset that breaks through limits. No one talks about the hours, the repetition, the moments when it's just you versus the voice in your head saying, is this worth it? But that's where champions are made. In the silence, in the struggle, in the trenches where persistence is the only weapon. That's the secret most miss. The flashy wins are built on the backs of relentless, unseen effort. And those who persist long enough begin to separate. They rise, not because they were the smartest, not because they were the most gifted, but because they were the last ones standing when everyone else walked away. You must make a decision, a real one, that your desire is worth it, that your dream is worth the time, the work, the pain, and that you will not back down, that you will show up when it's thankless, that you will continue when it's invisible, that you will persist when it's lonely, because that is the path, that is the price, and that is the truth. The world makes way for the man who knows what he wants and will not be denied. Not the man who wishes, not the one who wonders. The world steps aside for the one who moves with absolute clarity, unwavering confidence, and ruthless conviction. This man does not ask for permission. He does not wait for validation. He declares what he wants, claims it in his mind, and marches toward it with force. He makes decisions like he cannot fail. He acts like the outcome is inevitable. And because of that, the world responds. People follow certainty. Opportunities follow momentum. Resources follow clarity. But it all starts with a man who is done hoping and has chosen instead to demand results through action. This man doesn't flinch when challenged. He doesn't fold under pressure. He doesn't get thrown off by opinions, setbacks, or silence. He keeps going because his goal isn't up for debate. He doesn't chase approval because he already approved himself. His power comes from knowing what he wants, knowing why he wants it, and knowing that no force will stop him. The world doesn't resist him because the world respects resolve. In a world full of doubt, the man with certainty becomes magnetic. His presence changes rooms. His ambition disrupts patterns. His vision turns noise into direction. He does not get ready, he stays ready. He understands something most don't. The universe does not reward potential. It rewards pursuit. It rewards movement. It rewards action taken with boldness and carried with endurance. The world has no time for the indecisive. It forgets those who wait and remembers those who move. And the man who moves with purpose becomes impossible to ignore. He is not swayed by fear. He is not slowed by comfort. He is not limited by his past. He knows what he wants, and that alone is enough to separate him from the masses. Because most don't know. They drift. They dabble. They hope someone will give them the answer. But the man who wins chooses the answer. He carves the path himself, and the world has no choice but to make space for him. Clarity is a weapon, and this man wields it with precision. He doesn't set vague goals. He doesn't make soft promises. He sets sharp targets and binds himself to them. His goals are not suggestions, they are declarations. And declarations backed by action force results. The reason most people stay stuck is not lack of effort, it's lack of direction. They don't know what they truly want, so they chase everything and capture nothing. But the man who decides with finality gains leverage. His mind aligns, his energy compacts, his focus sharpens. And with that alignment, his speed multiplies. He gets more done in less time because every move has purpose, and every purpose feeds the mission. This kind of resolve turns him into a storm. Obstacles don't scare him, they fuel him. Rejection doesn't break him, it strengthens his will. He understands that setbacks are not signs to stop. They're signals to grow, to adapt, to sharpen his edge. He keeps going not because it's easy, but because stopping is not an option. His identity is tied to his outcome. He's not playing the game, he's defining it. And the world notices. It begins to bend. People offer help. Doors open, paths clear. Not because he waited, but because he walked like it was already done. The world doesn't open for those who knock gently. It opens for those who break down the door with certainty. There's something unshakable about a man with a decided mind. You can feel it. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't argue for his dreams. He simply moves, builds, and executes. And every step he takes increases his gravity. Results stack. Discipline compounds. Confidence grows. And soon, the world is adjusting to him, not the other way around. He's not influenced. He influences. He's not reactive. He's commanding. That's the result of a man who knows what he wants and refuses to let anything stand in his way. Most people want, but they don't demand. They wish, but they don't commit. They speak about goals, but they act like tourists, not owners. But the man who truly decides becomes untouchable. He doesn't need perfect conditions. He creates conditions. He doesn't hope the world gives him a chance. He takes the chance and multiplies it with force, resilience, and direction. And even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, he keeps going. Not because he feels like it, but because he's already decided who he is. That identity drives his discipline, and that discipline drives results that make the world stand back and watch. The man who wins is not the one who had the easiest path. It's the one who made the strongest decision, the one who made the clearest demand, the one who said, "This is mine," and meant it. No hesitation, no compromise. Just pure, focused intensity aimed at a single outcome. The world cannot resist that level of power. It cannot ignore that level of commitment. And it will always, always make way for the man who walks with the full belief that he will not be denied. Desire backed by belief and action becomes unstoppable force. It is the triad of power, desire as the ignition, belief as the engine, and action as the forward motion. On its own, desire is nothing more than a flicker. Alone, belief is a thought. By itself, action without conviction burns out. But when all three unite, they create momentum that crushes doubt, overcomes obstacles, and turns visions into facts. The man who operates from this formula becomes a force of nature. He doesn't rely on luck. He doesn't hope for opportunity. He creates momentum with his hands, builds belief in his mind, and moves as if nothing can deny him. Because once desire is connected to belief and fueled by consistent action, there is no wall it cannot break, no resistance it cannot outlast. This man does not stop. He does not pause to ask for permission. He doesn't wonder if he is ready. His desire drives him, his belief sustains him, and his action defines him. Every day he gets up and reinforces the dream, not with empty words, but with repeated movement. While others overthink, he builds. While others complain, he adapts. While others fear judgment, he sharpens his craft. He is not moved by setbacks because belief tells him they're just part of the path. He is not shaken by silence because action keeps him loud in progress. His desire is not a wish, it's a demand, and that demand shapes how he talks, walks, and attacks the day. When you combine desire with belief, your mind changes. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking small questions. You stop wondering what's possible. Your standard rises. You don't entertain doubt, and you don't need external motivation. Because the fire inside burns too strong to be distracted. And once belief kicks in, once you feel that internal certainty, you move differently. You speak with weight. You act with urgency. You look into the storm and smile because you know where you're going, and nothing outside of you can take that away. You become locked in, not by force, but by purpose. But belief alone isn't enough. Without action, belief fades. That's where the unstoppable part comes in. When you act every single day in alignment with what you want, you compound progress. The discipline sharpens, the focus intensifies, and your results begin to echo your efforts. Suddenly, people notice. They ask how. They ask why. But they didn't see the grind. They didn't see the late nights, the early mornings, the doubt you faced and beat back daily. Because this isn't about what the world sees. It's about what you decide. The man who pairs massive desire with unshakable belief and relentless action does not need applause. He is too busy building empires while others are explaining dreams. There is no obstacle strong enough to outlast a man who refuses to quit. He will wear it down. He will go around it, over it, through it. That is what desire does when it is connected to a mission. That is what belief does when it becomes identity. That is what action does when it is fueled by purpose. It becomes inevitable, not easy, inevitable. Because you cannot stop a man who doesn't entertain defeat. You cannot break a man who already broke through mentally. He's not chasing a result. He's honoring who he already decided to be. And every step, every rep, every decision stacks until the weight of his consistency becomes impossible to ignore. The world makes way not for those who merely want, but for those who declare and act. Because action validates belief. Action builds reputation, not just in the world, but in your own mind. When you act daily, you convince yourself that you are the one who gets it done. You prove to yourself that you don't fold, that you don't stall, that you don't slow down when things aren't perfect. And this self-certainty becomes armor. It protects you from excuses. It shields you from distractions. And it reinforces the truth that your dream is not a fantasy. It's a blueprint. And you're building it brick by brick. You must understand this. There is no such thing as a small action when it is tied to a large desire. Every step forward is progress. Every repetition builds belief. Every choice compounds. And over time, what looked impossible now feels routine. What once overwhelmed you now belongs to you, because you didn't stop. You didn't settle. You backed your desire with belief, and you matched your belief with bold, tireless movement. That's the formula for transformation. That's the mindset of the elite. Not those who have the most talent, but those who use what they have with intensity, with fire, and without apology. So ask yourself, is your desire real, or is it entertainment? Because if it's real, you'll do what's required. You'll believe even when there's no evidence. You'll act even when there's no applause. You'll move even when no one understands your vision. And if you do this long enough, the world will catch up. The world will recognize what you already knew, that you were never waiting for a break. You were building one. And now that it's here, there is nothing and no one that can take it from you. Because your desire is rooted, your belief is bulletproof, and your action is undeniable. That is what makes you unstoppable. And so if you truly desire something, deeply, fiercely, without apology, then back it with belief so strong that no failure can shake it, and fuel it with action so consistent that even the impossible bends to your will. Let others talk, let others doubt, let others wait for the perfect time, but not you. You've decided. You've committed. You've become the force that no wall can resist, no delay can discourage, and no failure can stop. Because when desire becomes belief, and belief becomes relentless action, there is no power greater. You will not be denied. You will not be forgotten. You will not be stopped. Now move, and don't look back.